Hello, this is Manash Patel from Ichimoku Today is February 1st, 2015. This is our executive summary for the currency market, the spot Forex market, where we will cover everything from US dollar to euro to Japanese yen to Canadian to Australian to New Zealand and Switzerland. This is a normal disclaimer to state this is for education use only. We're not soliciting you to buy or sell any particular instrument. If you do so, you're doing that at your own risk. All the information is owned by EII Capital. It cannot be copied or distributed without our written permission. All the charts you can see are basically from TradeStation. Here are our contact details here. You could email us here at info@eiicapital.com, or you could call us at any of our office locations here shown at the bottom, or you could go to our website here and you could access any of our free video tutorials. We have a lot of DVD products now. We have 1-month mentoring. We also have multiple time frame email alerts, and also a real-time scan, a global scanner to find institutional support resistances. So you could go to the website and access any of that information there. So let's go straight to our charts. First currency we're going to look at is Australian CAD. Remember, on the left hand side is basically the weekly time frame. On the right hand side is the monthly time frame. Okay, let me find my mouse. There it is. If you look at Australian CAD here, if you look at the monthly time frame, really not doing anything except consolidating at all right now in the ugly pattern. As you can see, the consolidation pattern is getting squeezing tighter and tighter, where the resistances are going down and supports are going up. Okay, if you look at the weekly time frame here, it started a bearish trend here, but then it came back up here all the way up to this level right here and kind of broke the resistance at 98.14 and kind of hung around there for a couple of weeks, which is not good. So this is starting to show signs of being bullish here on the weekly time frame, but not quite bullish yet because it hasn't gotten above the cloud. But this is indicating that the Australian CAD is going to continue to consolidate as far as the long-term picture is concerned. Australian yen, if you look at it here, this had a chance here to start a bullish trend here again. It didn't hold the support at 95.54. When that broke down, this thing just sat there and broke down completely, where if you look at the weekly time frame here, it's just sitting there looking ugly too, and it's at a major support right now, which is at 91.44. This thing looks like it wants to consolidate here. However, it is an upward consolidation pattern that this thing's going through, so just take that in consideration. This is still tilted toward the bullish side, even though it's going for an ugly consolidation pattern right now. But it is on a major support right now, and the question is, will it hold that support? Australian Switzerland here, you could see here, this is a ugly consolidation pattern that's been going down here. The resistances have been going down, but the support is basically being constant here, where it's been holding at 69.36. So we got right back down here, we bounced off there, and now we're going to wait and see exactly what's going to happen here on the weekly time frame. As long as the resistance at 77.24 holds, we got a high probability of breaking the 69.36 support and starting a long-term trend to the downside and breaking this long-term consolidation pattern. So be very cautious of that right now when trying to go bullish on the Australian Switzerland. Australia, New Zealand, this is bearish trending here on the monthly time frame here. And you could see here at the bottom of here, retesting the support at 546. There's been some hesitation here from the Australian-New Zealand pair completely, which is not good at all. So this may be showing signs where this bearish trend here may be sitting there dying down a little, and some profit taking may start to occur where it may go for its first pullback. But right now we don't see that at all. It's really got to break this resistance at 829 in order to sit there and start a bullish trend here to the weekly time frame. But before we could even do that, this thing has got to sit there and go for a pullback, which is pretty much retesting this high up here. So if it retests this high right here, right there at 1293, and breaks that resistance here, this will signify a bullish trend here on the weekly time frame, which will pretty much engage in a major pullback on the monthly time frame. Australia, New Zealand here is bearish trending on the weekly time frame. On the monthly here, it really didn't hold the support at 8,500 at all, so that was the major pullback level. It broke that completely to a point. It's trying to sit there and come all the way back down here. So the monthly time frame is bearish sentiment right now, and it's trying to engage in a bearish trend to go retest this low all the way back down here. And you could see from the weekly time frame, it's still very strong here, where the resistances are continuously keep on moving down. So this thing is bearish trending tonight right now on both the weekly and the monthly time frame in my mind. CAD Switzy here. This was an ugly trend here. This is bearish trending here to the downside. Sat there, came down here to the major support, kind of held it temporarily right now at 71.15. However, the weekly time frame is still very strong to a point. It's got a high probability of breaking that as long as the support resistance is 77.71 holds. CAD Yen. This right here is an interesting chart here. Broke out, the sentiment looked bullish. It started a trend here to the bullish side here. Major support for this guy, which it kind of closed right below, is 94.90, which it had to hold for this bullish trend here to continue. It did not hold that at all. In fact, it closed below it to a point it's weak in this instrument. We really got to see a follow through on the weekly time frame or the lower time frames to go down in order for the monthly to be completely destroyed as far as a bullish trend is concerned. So right now it looks like it may have held it here or may have broken it. We're not sure. We got to see how follow through here. So you could see here on here that if this sits there and breaks this support, it comes all the way down to the support here at 90.01, that basically is going to destroy this bullish trend here. So we got to see what happens with the weekly time frame for the CAD Yen in the next 2 weeks to determine the long-term view for the CAD Yen. Switzy Yen here, this is bullish trending on both the weekly and the monthly time frame here, and you could see it had a little spike up here, and believe it or not, it's got a high probability of coming all the way back up to the spike up there. We're sitting right on a major support, minor support level 126.43. Major one's going to be 125.08. So it may stop here and start to move up, but this is a great candidate to start looking for bullish trades on the lower time frame, because if they do sit there and occur, you got a huge upside and good reward risk to the top side. Euro Australian here, you can see a nice bearish trend here, pulled back. Major resistance level for the pullback is pretty much 49 to 47, which it held. If it breaks that resistance level, then this thing's going to sit there and probably enter a long-term consolidation pattern. But it held the 49.47 level on the monthly time frame. If you look here on the weekly, it looks like one big ugly chart pattern here. The only way the weekly and the monthly could start a trend is it's got to break the support at 40.19 in order to start a trend to the downside. EuroCAD. If you look at EuroCAD here, this is just one ugly pattern here. This is a ugly consolidation pattern that's slowly moving down, so just take a note of that. If you look at the weekly time frame here, this is bearish, believe it or not, and it's slowly in a bearish consolidation pattern going down. But this is bearish, believe it or not, so just keep an eye on this one, where sooner or later it's going to start trending with vengeance. But I think it's only going to start trending with vengeance once it breaks the support at 38.53. Euro Switzy. Well, this was pegged, but that was just pretty much that peg was killed to a point now we can start looking at this particular instrument. Oops. We can start looking at this particular instrument here. Pullback level is going to be this 922 right here. If it doesn't get there and just starts to make a move down again, that's going to be very strong. But notice the spike down here went below the 1, which is the par, which is interesting to see. So there's a high probability that this thing could sit there and follow through and keep on going lower than 1, which is the par, which is everyone is expecting. So keep an eye on this one to see exactly what happens with that. Euro Pound, we've been talking about this one being bearish, and we had multiple time frame email alerts that triggered for weeks in 2014 going into 2015. This is continuing its journey all the way down to our support level here, which is 73.65, which is a major support level there. Okay. Euro Yen, if you look at it, it's a nice little bullish trend here. Kind of stopped here at this resistance. It poked its head out a couple of times on the monthly time frame at 141.93. Looked like it was going to start a bullish trend here, but really didn't sit there and hold that support at all to a point it broke down below it. And if you look at the weekly time frame, it was bullish. Now look what happens. It's basically dented it from being bullish, and now this thing is sitting there looking more bearish than ever. It still needs some time for this thing to go bearish, but if it could sit there and break the support here at 132.18 in the next 4 or 5 weeks, then this is going to start a trend to the bearish side on the weekly time frame, which will pretty much sit there and get this thing to come all the way back down to 120s and lower. Euro New Zealand, this is a nice bearish trend on the monthly time frame. A little pullback level here to about 7,000. Held that level and came down and starting to go down again. Had a little poke through here where it broke the support at 49.88, which is a good thing here for the bearish people. However, it didn't follow through at all, which is not good. So if you look at the weekly time frame here, major resistance that's got to hold this thing right now is got to be 56.10. If it could hold that resistance here at 56.10, the ugly weekly pattern can sit there and retest this low here, and at that point we're going to have a follow through, a breaking the support here, and taking our journey all the way down to about 43.19. Okay. Next one is going to be Euro USD. You can see on the Euro USD here, held the resistance here at 4,000. After that, this thing has just tanked here to start a major trend on basically the weekly and the monthly time frame here. We got to one support now, and we kind of bounced off that guy, which is, it's easier to probably show you over here, at 1127. Next one's going to be at 995, and then we have the level right below that at 571. This thing looks like it's trying to get to par by the end of the year, but we'll have to see, but because we got a lot of minor supports in order for it to break to get up to par. Pound Australian here, you can see a nice little upward movement here. Believe it or not, this is just a major pullback for this bearish trend here. Okay, and you could see here that the weekly time frame right now is trying to go bullish, and you could see it's got a very high probability of completely breaking out, getting to this resistance level of 97.66, and pretty much continuing its journey higher. So this is a great trade to start looking for possible trades to go bullish in the next couple of weeks. And if you see the setups, then you know that this is going to continue to keep on going higher. Pound Switzy here. You can see this is just like all the Switzy pairs out there. This is to the bearish side. Notice this little spike here this month in January didn't sit there and retest the low like it did with a lot of other Switzy pairs. So this is probably the weakest, strongest currency against the Switzy right now that we've been seeing, because it didn't sit there and retest the lows of the previous spikes here that were established. Everything's going to tell us everything, the entire story for the Switzy pair here at 41.72 resistance level. If it breaks this resistance level here, this thing's going to sit there and continue to consolidate. If it holds that resistance level here, this will retest this low here, and then possibly could come all the way back down here to that low. Pound yen, you can see a nice bullish trend here. Sat there, it kept on moving up. It had to hold a support at 178.90, which it did not do at all. Went below that. So this thing's weakened now to a point it doesn't look like it's bullish at all. It looks like it could sit there and start resuming its downward trend at least to the 160.262 level. And the reason why is that this is a nice bearish trend here, and the pullback level of resistance was 184.42, which is pretty much holding. If this thing here starts to set up for a bearish trend here on the weekly time frame, watch out, because this thing could sit there, start its long-term trend to the downside. So key levels is this weekly time frame in order for it to set up for a bearish setup. Pound New Zealand, really not doing anything at all except consolidating between 9,400 and 2.0914. It's trying to go bullish again. If it does, it's just going to get into the cloud and really do nothing. So this bearish tilt right now, it's going for its first major pullback, and the pullback's just causing it to consolidate to a point it's not really telling us any story at all. Pound USD had a chance to go bullish. It didn't do that at all. Couldn't even get to a major resistance we had outlined up here at this yellow line at all. Fell short of that. So this has got a lot of momentum to the bearish side, believe it or not. This thing skipped all the way down to a major support at 51.07. Kind of looks like it held a little, and now what it's doing is trying to break that level to get all the way down to 44.94. If it breaks that, then it's going to have a high probability to get into 4,000 and possibly go lower after the going forward. New Zealand CAD, you could see here bullish trending here, pulled back, minor pullback here. It broke the minor resistance level too, and it looks like it's trying to retest the high at 95.80. And if it retests this, breaks this resistance here at 94.10 and retests this high here, believe it or not, both the weekly and monthly could enter a bullish trend. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on. New Zealand Switzy, this is like similar to the pound Switzy here, where we didn't retest a spike here. Major resistance, in order for this thing to resume its consolidation pattern, go to the top, is going to be 72.12 as the major resistance level. New Zealand Yen here, you could see nice bullish trending here. Still has not gone for a major pullback at all. Now notice this fell short of this high here. A lot of people thinking that if this thing here sits there and starts to go down, this is a lower high than here, which signifies that this is going to reverse into a long-term bearish trend. Well, guess what? We don't know that right now at all. We got to wait patiently and get confirmations on the lower time frame to determine that. And if you look at the weekly time frame here, it had a chance to go bullish if it held the support at 88.71. Didn't hold it at all. Now it looks like it's trying to go bearish below the cloud. However, it's got a long time before it could go bearish. So don't think this is bearish at all right now. New Zealand USD, nice bearish trend on the weekly time frame, and you can see it's trying to get to these support levels here that we outlined here, but you can see the monthly is just an ugly pattern. This is Singapore Yen. We talked about this one. This is sitting on a major support right now, which is at 86.50. This has to hold. If it doesn't hold, then the weekly time frame is going to go for its first major pullback after a very long time. US CAD, this thing's still going with vengeance. It's at one major resistance level, which is at 27.52. If it breaks that, then it's got a high probability getting into 34.67. This thing really has not pulled back at all since it's kind of moved with vengeance, and you could see that by respecting this red line here on the weekly time frame. US yen really not doing anything, just consolidating here, not really even showing you a bearish tilt anymore with that little spike that happened a couple of weeks ago. And you can see that from here from the weekly time frame. US yen, nice little upward movement here, kind of holding at this resistance level 118.72 or 120 if you want to just call it even. The key thing is going to be this weekly time frame. Support has to hold at 111.67 in order for the US yen to continue its bullish momentum to the upside. And lastly, US Singapore dollar, you can see this is bullish trending on the weekly and is trying to get to this resistance here at 37.85. So we'll have to wait and see how far this thing could go. That concludes this video for the currency market. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Thank you.